Welcome to Magical Moments with Alena Chapman, the place for you to break free from the norm and celebrate your life, because what we believe in our hearts becomes our reality. This is Magical Moments with Alena Chapman.
Welcome to Magical Moments for that ease and betterment in your life. And I'm your host, Alena Chapman. And I wanted to take just a minute and present this magical nugget. This one, I think, is a really good one. I get so many questions. They say, Alena, I'm in the present moment. I'm not thinking about that forward, but I don't understand the present moment. I don't understand. So I thought, you know what? We're going to talk about that, because being in the present moment is so much more than you think. It is not about time. Can you believe it? It's not about time. It's about an awareness that you reach. I always, instead of saying in the present moment, a lot of times I will ask people to start treating each moment sacred. So that doesn't mean you walk around on glass all day. We don't want that. But we do want that you say you're making the bed. Okay? Well, instead of just making it and think, okay, that's another thing off my to-do list. Now I'm on to the next. All right. Just stop and think or feel. Feel the sheets, how crisp they feel, and how wonderful that bed comes together, and it just looks so inviting. Think about that. Treat that moment sacred. When you're washing the dishes, and I'm only doing things around the house right now, maybe because I have a lot of things to do around the house. But when I'm washing the dishes, I feel the water. And I love water, and I let it run over my hands for a minute. And I just feel so much at peace with the water. It's treating the moment sacred, which brings you into the present. I'm not thinking about 300 things in the future, and I'm not thinking about 500 things in the past. I'm thinking about how sacred this moment is. And the thing is, it brings you, when you treat things sacred, it brings you into this moment of awareness. It is big. And when you reach, you get that. You get it when you do the sacredness, but you also get it in meditation. And when you reach, everybody explains it like, it is everything and nothing. Everything and nothing. And if you want a little feeling of what that feels like, there's a short little meditation that I do. And all you have to do is you breathe in and relax your shoulders, relax every part of you. And then when you, not to a point where you're meditating, but that you just relax. And then start to breathe and let the air that you push out fall down just like a gentle waterfall on your body. And then you're ready. All you have to do is just feel the breath between the intake and the outtake. And right there is that sweet spot. It's the everything and the nothing. And when you treat things sacred, you start to peek in to that awareness and that wonderful sweet spot. Now, you're saying, Alena, I've got millions of things to do. Well, we all do. I mean, any given day, I can have 500 things that need to be done. But I never do them with a rush. I never do them with, I treat it sacred, because I love that spot. And you know what? You'll find something very interesting. When you start doing this, you're going to find out you have more time. You're going to start creating time, which of course you can't do, but it's going to feel like it. I've had people call me and say, Alena, I have too much time now. Because when you're in the present and you're treating things sacred, it changes everything. So give it a try. Just really treat things sacred. Be in the moment. Now, we have an exciting show today. It's a fun show, but it has a lot of meaning, and I know it's going to hit a lot of people out there, because this show is about dating after after you get divorced. Oh boy, is that a hot topic. Here we go. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about this wonderful person because she is pretty neat. I'm impressed. I like her whole life. I think she's just really put together in a lot of ways. Her name's Leanne Lazar, and she's a dating and relationships coach for single parents. How many of us are out there? She offers guidance on how to shift your mindset about dating. That's interesting, isn't it? She will show you how to gain clarity for yourself, identify fears holding you back. Do you think you have any of those? And how to take conscious, intentional action. And she helps you transform that Friday night from Dateline with a glass of wine and PJs to a date night, dinner, and fun. Does that sound good? I love that. And with that, Leanne, hello.
Hi, Alena. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Oh, good. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Because I think
I'm so happy to be a part of the show.
Oh, well, this is a big topic. I mean, divorce is still out. People are getting divorced. Many of us have been divorced for a little while, and still that dating for people, it's just not the place. But I want to take you back first. Let's start at the beginning. I was married for about 12 years. You were married 13, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So you married the guy, the guy with the white horse or whatever. But anyway, this was supposed to be the picture perfect marriage. We're going to grow old together. We're going to walk hand in hand out on the beach. We're going to, just have our days forever and ever together. What happened?
Yes, I know. We all start off with that, don't we? We all start off with the idea that this person is, going to take us off our feet and have an amazing life together. And, 13 years, like you being in it for 12, I mean, a lot of it was very blissful. I did get married in my 20s.
Oh,
so,
wow. Yeah.
Coming off of, being very young and, what I knew at the time and what I was looking for at the time. And it was a lot of fun. We were in love. I still love this person today.
Yes.
Through everything that we've come through. And I believe that a lot of the shift really happened in my marriage when I shifted identity of becoming a mother, shifting out of a career, shifting into a new space.
Yes.
Yeah. So that dynamic, although it's extremely blissful, there's a little bit of a loss of identity. There's a shift in the dynamic of the relationship.
There is a ton of a loss of an identity.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you have kids, that happened to me. The job, I was just not working. I had 3 boys, and that wasn't supposed to be. There were too many things in the marriage, too many things that I was responsible for. Did I go into an identity crisis? You're darn right I did. I had worked since I was 15 for my career. So with that, I'm like, well, who am I? Now what am I?
Exactly.
I understand.
That's very similar. Yeah, to me, I was used to working. I always wanted to be a mother, and
me too.
I have 2 boys. So I know. Boys are so fun.
They are fun. Well, girls are too, but I wouldn't know because I have 3 boys.
I know, me too. I didn't get to buy dolls.
No dolls.
Dinosaurs.
They didn't want it. Yeah.
Trucks.
Oh, gosh, yes.
But I know. And it really was that shift. And unfortunately, our relationship as a couple wasn't strong enough to really weather the growth that was happening and the shift that was happening over time. And, we just didn't give each other the space or really the time to grow and shift and maintain. It kind of created this very fear cycle or circle of fear of, okay, you're not the person that I need you to be, and you're not the person that I need you to be, and oh my gosh, what is this? And then you've got young kids, and it's a really, really tough fear cycle that I was a part of, and I didn't know it at the time. I was doing the best that I can do, carrying a lot of the responsibility emotionally and the weight that way. And it wasn't something that I had already set up in my marriage. And so when I wasn't able to maintain that, my partner was not equipped in our dynamic to really, rise to the surface and sort of support that way.
Yeah, so, support you and be a father. It's hard. Yeah, I get it. And it is. There's a lot of expectation when you become a parent. There's a lot of from each partner. There's you grow up with what you grew up with. You expect that in the family. Well, it's you're forming something new. It's hard. We really need pamphlets on all this stuff, I think.
Absolutely. We absolutely do.
There's no riding out to the sunset. And I always wondered when I was a little girl, I used to say, what happens when they ride out to the sunset?
You look at the sun.
You look at the sun, right. Little do you know what awaits. But anyway, so it's hard. No matter why you get divorced, it's hard. And there is a lot of trepidation when you are starting a life. It's starting a life alone. And I think and plus on top of that, women who have given up a career of any sort or have changed roles have to change back. Don't you find that?
100%. You have to sort of re-enter a new life. And it happens constantly. I think it happens a lot more frequently for women than it does for men because our bodies, when we have children, they take on a physical, you transform physically and then you transform back to yourself. And, there's a lot of unspoken losses there and also births that happen that, I think collectively is starting to be talked about a lot more openly, but it's you're kind of going through it alone. Your partner doesn't necessarily understand.
No.
They can only show up for where you are. You've got hormones going on and all that stuff. But once you move through, having children and then, you do go through a divorce, no one has a blueprint for that. No one has a path. Every relationship is unique in its own.
It is.
You can be coached, you can have therapy, you can talk to friends and family, but ultimately you have to decide for yourself how you want to move forward. And if you are stuck in the fear, the shame, the pain of it, it's very hard to move through it.
Don't you think sometimes we allow, I've seen it over and over, sometimes we get caught up in the drama and our family gets caught up in the drama and they don't let it go because they're angry.
Yes.
And it feeds your anger and it feeds your unforgiving and it feeds your bitterness. Sometimes you have to, we have to just say stop. We have to say stop. Wait, I need to heal now. I can't think this way. You really have to step past that. And that's hard for people because they think they're getting support.
Well, and it's hard for people to ask for what they need. And if you're coming from, if you're going through a divorce or you've come through a divorce, the dynamic that you were in your survival mode for so long, and if you do have support, it's like, how do I ask for help? Where do I go? How do I ask someone to, watch my children at 5:30 to 7:30, even though that's dinner time because I need to take a walk? Or, how do I schedule in my therapy session or my coaching session? Or, what do I need for me? That's really the clarity that has to come and really
and that's hard Yeah, we can ask for
Very
help
hard.
when we're working, but for that self-care that is so very, very important, the walk, the just trying to get your senses about you because you're trying to form a whole new life. That is important because I remember with my boys, I would always get a date, not a date with myself. I would get a sitter for Friday night. And my kids would say, "Are you going out, Mom?" I said, "Yes." And what would I do? I'd go to a coffee shop or a local whatever cafe or restaurant, and I would sit there and just read and have a little meal or have a tea and just be with me. And do you know that did me a world of good? Just to be, we need...
Yes, and the fact that you actually knew that is what you needed to do for yourself.
Oh.
That's unbelievable. So many people don't do it.
Oh, well, now they're listening. Now then maybe they will. It's important. So here you are. You're out in the new world. Ta-da. And you have, you're creating your new life. You are trying, you're still in survival mode because maybe you have kids and you're trying to figure out how you're going to manage that. How are you going to get a job? You've got all this going on. And many of us don't always have such a wonderful divorce that we have all this wonderful forgiveness and friendship and collaborative divorce. Some of us, the great majority don't. It's very sad, unfortunately. So then, all of a sudden you say, well, I want to date. All right.
Yes.
That's like a train wreck waiting to happen, isn't it?
You know what? It is a train wreck ready to happen or coming your way if you are not ready and prepared for it.
Yes.
And I think that, a lot of people go through the idea that, okay, I want to have love. I want to have someone show me and treat me
yes,
well. That's
of course.
initially why people want to get into the dating space again. I feel that I am ready. And they might put the feelers out there and go, oh, gosh, okay, no, this isn't the person I want to attract, whatever. Guess what?
Yes.
You haven't done the work on yourself. You're not ready to really step forward.
That is humongous right there. And people always kid. I used to, one of my mentors said, take a year after you forgive. And I thought, you're kidding. I'm going to be old by that time. But you know what? It's true. It's true because we are what we are thinking, what we believe. And if we have that anger inside, or we have that, we're angry about someone who betrayed us, or we're angry about somebody who didn't put too much responsibility on us, or didn't honor us for who we are, or whatever the problem may be, then you're holding that inside and you think, I'm so wise now. I will never fall for that again. But my dears, what you resist, and this goes for men too, what you resist is just as powerful as what you want. So if you keep resisting something and keep it, I'm going to watch out for that. I'm not going to get a guy who betrays me. Guess what's going to walk into your life? Another one.
100%.
Yeah. And it happens over and over and over. I've had so many people come to me with that. It's just amazing.
Well, exactly. And where it really comes down to is finding the clarity for yourself. And one of the things that I implemented in my life, which is, also what I share with my community and my clients, is your beliefs and your thoughts create everything. And so when you are stuck in a pattern of negative thought, or you're fearful of what's going to come, it's not really moving you through to the next place. And so you really have to sit with, what are my thoughts about this? I think men are going to take advantage of me, or I think, from a woman's perspective, or, I am scared that I'm going to get hurt again. Or maybe a guy thinks that, well, women are only after me for my money, or they're only going to want to be with me because, I can give them this. And so those are just thoughts. Those really aren't true, but that's what, over time and your habitual patterns in life have created that for yourself. And so it's time to sit down and reevaluate that.
It's true. You must. I once had in one class, I had the husband soon to be the ex, and then in the other class I had the wife. And in that class with the wife who was leaving, she was very much, oh, he's a cheater. He's a cheater. I just can't live with him. And she was very vocal about it. And then he, on the other hand, was very quiet, very sad. Okay. And I just said something wasn't adding up. And so one day I asked him, I said, what happened? And I don't usually do that, but this was an extreme circumstance. And he said, she just felt I was cheating from the day we got married, and it just started right then, and she's ruined my life. She calls my office, she scares the women away. I can't have women clients. She's destroyed my business in that way. I have to rebuild. And then when I went back to her, I said, hey, this is a horrible story. I said, what showed you that he was really cheating? Who was he cheating with? And she couldn't name it. And so she went home that night. When she came back the next week, she said, Alena, I don't think he was cheating. I said, oh, okay, we need to look at this. And I said, okay, so what happened? She said, I don't know. I just got it in my head that all men are cheaters. There you go. So even if the person is, if you have it in your head, that's all you can see. You are saying, I don't want any more cheaters. I don't want, everyone's a cheater. I've got to really watch that. And before you know it, you attract it, even though that person isn't. You create what you think about. You create it. You create everything you think. So, yeah, you are 100% right. So what do you think about this journey? I mean, what journey did you take to get yourself ready for dating?
I did take time. So that is something that I did do. I took time for myself. I took time to focus and heal and to forgive all of the things that you were just mentioning. I did take that time, and it was, it was scary. It was lonely. I had been with a person most of my adult life. And
you had.
Being comfortable with myself, being comfortable being just me.
Yes.
I think that was really a big shift in my life because I didn't need to fill that space with another person at that time. And I didn't realize that I was able to move forward and not have someone that I shared that energy with or had that circle of connection.
That is big, Leanne.
With myself.
Yeah, this is humongous. I don't think people fully understand it. Describe a little bit, because this is so big. This is big for anyone. This is big for a girl or a man. Men too. I have 3 boys. I'm always telling them this. To really take the time when you're 20 and you're going to get married, or when you're getting divorced, or when you're going into a new relationship. This is important for any time. And it's that learning to gosh, you know what? I'm whole. I'm okay. I'm good. So talk a little bit more about the process of the self-acceptance that you went through, and maybe what you practice that you did to help people to understand what it takes to actually get to that point.
Yes, I did hire a coach pretty immediately after my separation.
That's
to
smart.
help guide me.
Yeah,
I did. I committed to doing that, and it was the biggest thing that I could do for myself in shifting my thoughts and my, adding practice into my life. So really what I did was find clarity for me, where I was right then at that time, and really where the fear was lying. Was I feeling vulnerable and the pain that I was in, mixed in with the forgiveness, of forgiving myself, forgiving him, forgiving the situation, forgiving myself for putting our children through what we were going through.
Yes.
And then as I was able to sort of work through those things, I did a lot of meditation, like what you were speaking about. I started doing a daily meditation practice. I also, through one of my coaches, was taught a thought model. And this thought model helped me identify where my negative thought pattern was sitting, that was being triggered by my emotions and my feelings, and then it was resulting in the actions that I was taking. And so how do I make that into more of an intentional thought process? How do I want to feel, not how am I just knee-jerk reacting to something? So I started really applying that into my life, which is how I found clarity with myself and how I was thinking about things. So once I started to really identify that and feel comfortable with naming where I was feeling, naming what I was doing, and seeing how things were beginning to shift in my life, with my children, with my dynamic with my ex-husband, with my job and career and growth of my business, it was all beginning to shift because I was thinking about things differently. My perception of things were different.
Yes.
I was also able to, just be with me, like you were talking about, taking yourself out for coffee and being okay with where I was at that time, now in that present moment.
That is good.
That is what
it's big.
That is what helped me get through and say, okay, well, now that I'm ready to step into this dating space, of course, that was other layers coming as well, which I can speak to, but I was ready. I was a solid person. I felt whole, and I didn't need the same things that I needed before from another person. Right. I was like, I'm choosing to, see who's out there that I want to share my time with. I don't need someone to come into my life and be a father to my children. They have a father. They have a great father.
Yes.
What is it that I want for me? Where does this fit in the dynamic of where I am right now, today in my life?
You are listening to 30-Minute Moments for that ease and betterment. And we're talking to Leanne Lazar. We'll be right back because we're going to delve a little bit more into how to move forward.
You're listening to Magical Moments with Alena Chapman, helping you find your inner purpose. Learn more online at soulmanifesto.com.
Welcome back to Magical Moments. I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and that ease and betterment in your life. We are talking to Leanne Lazar, and we've been talking about, and we're going to talk more about, how it is that we have to be comfortable with who we are before we step out into that dating world and expect somebody else to like who we are. So, Leanne, okay. We're talking about this starting to forgive. I mean, it's a lot. Here we're trying, if we have kids and we're divorced, and this is for men too. You have kids and you're divorced and you're trying to deal with that and you're trying to make sure they have a safe place. Then you're trying to also figure out, okay, the money thing, we got to get that going in our family. And then all of a sudden I have to also do forgiveness and everything else. Are you kidding? But I think understanding, first of all, if you're not right, nothing's going to be right. I remember there was an instructor who once said to me, she heard me complaining, and she said, Alena, just take care of your own world. Oh my God, that was humongous. Humongous. It opened my eyes. It was, sometimes I think God or the Spirit just comes in and speaks through people to wake you up. That woke me up. All of a sudden, I was like, I have to just take care of my world. And when I did that, I saw my kids. I saw what they were going through. And I could rally the troops. I could understand what we needed as a family to be whole, what I needed to be the best mom I could be. It put me into action. And that was my catalyst. I don't know. Did you have a catalyst like that, Leanne? Something that just woke you up?
I did. I was primarily responsible for my kids for a period of time after our divorce. And so I needed to be fully present for them. I needed to make sure that they were good, that they were taken care of. So, instead of the old habit of putting myself on the back burner, I knew that I was the sun and they were rotating around me. And if the sun wasn't shining and if it wasn't strong, everything was going to be out of alignment. And so I knew that I had to do the work on myself, go through the steps of healing, take the time for myself, forgive myself, and move through that so that I could be the stable environment and person for them to thrive from. And not
that is big.
Wobble all over the place.
And you can't be the bitter wife or the bitter husband or you can't be sitting there grouching away to your kids, because that shakes their foundation. They need two solid people. They need that mom and dad. And if one is bashing the other and blaming, then that shakes their world more. They see that things aren't going to work out. I don't know if people understand that.
It's true, and it really is consciously moving through that situation and moving through that. And maybe you don't have, and there's a lot of people out there that don't have that person that can really hold space and not badmouth or things like that. That's, you kind of, when you're divorced, you let go of that control of what's happening with that other person and that whole dynamic. So you have to really own the space that you're in, the home that you're creating when those children are with you, and what that is actually, what you're creating there for them.
Yes.
And then you're able to springboard, and once everything is settled, then you can move forward with yourself. But that's really, like you were saying, getting down to feeling whole for yourself, feeling grounded, feeling centered. And there's a lot of different practices you can do. You can start to meditate. You can also start to journal and write down the things that are coming to you.
That's big.
That's huge.
That's humongous.
It's really big.
Because it digs out. It digs down all the gunk that you have been pushing down. You let it out on a piece of paper. It's heaven. It really is.
Yes.
And it feels good to get it out. And then you look back and you think, my gosh, did I really carry all that? It gets it out of you, out of the cells, out of the muscles, out of the stomach, Journaling, I can't say enough. Yes, journaling is big. And then starting to accept you. I think, don't you agree there's a level of forgiveness, no matter how easy your divorce is? There's a level of forgiveness for all of us that we didn't make it work. There's 100%. Something, We've got to go through that, and we got to release ourselves from that. And that takes time. That takes time, because along that comes in with that stuff is stuff like, oh my gosh, I wasn't, I'm not worth going on. How could I let this fall? I wasn't good enough. All these feelings that are not true. That critical mind goes crazy. It's going through that stuff and saying, wait a minute, this isn't true. Don't you agree? Did you find that happening with you?
I did find that happening with me. And what I recognized was a lot of those feelings of self-doubt, they were very deep-rooted. They weren't specifically coming through because of the divorce. They were very deep-rooted for long periods of time. So I think what happens is when we go through a traumatic experience, divorce, a big shift like that, we associate all of those feelings with that situation, but quite frankly, they probably existed well before that.
Yes.
So it's time, and that's where the practice and the meditation comes through is, letting go of the things that no longer serve you, the thoughts that don't serve you, the habits that you have done that don't serve where you are right now.
And so it's
that's
really
good. Identifying that and
I agree.
Working through it.
Yes, those habits, So you're going to want to look at those habits. Anything that feeds the negative side of you, oh my gosh, let it go. Let it go. Pick up a habit that helps promote the person you are becoming. And it's not like you're changing yourself. You're unfolding. You are discovering what was always hidden inside. And so when you dig through all this stuff, you're actually, my gosh, you're birthing a flower. You really are. You're bringing forward the beauty of you. And I mean, people say to me, you know, oh, it seems like so much work. But it's not. I don't think so anyway.
I mean, if that's what you think it is, then it's going to be hard.
Yes.
And that's where your thoughts really start to come in. If you think something is hard, or you think something is going to take a long time, then that's where you're going to focus your energy. If you think, I can do it, I can get through, and you start to visualize where you want to be, what your life is going to look like, and do some visualization exercises, you're able to embody and embrace, wow, I don't have to stay in this space. I can create other things. I can think about things in a different way. And when you start to see things shift in your daily life and in your physical space, then that is affirming that the shift that's happening in your mind is also happening, and it's radiating outside of you.
Yes, the reward. And that's what it is. So, all right. So we've done all this work for ourselves. And oh boy, we're feeling good. We feel whole. We feel complete. We don't need anybody in our lives. But we would like to share. Nobody's going to complete us, but boy, we want to share. We want to have a partner. We're at that point, okay? So we have graduated from all that pain, from all that suffering. Now we're armed. We're going out into the world, our full, wonderful self. And what happens?
We start to put ourselves out there. We're like, okay, all right. It's almost like you're stepping out. Should I walk across the crosswalk now? Is there a car coming? Is it not coming? Am I going to go back?
We're walking into the unknown. Well, and really, when you do all that work on yourself and you are ready, there's not a lot of people who have done that work. I'll prepare. I don't want to be a doomsdayer because I'm really not a doomsdayer. But there aren't a lot of people who do the work. So you will find that you run into that. But I think, you know, that dating game is if you treat it as something fun. Life is an experiment, guys. It really is. It's a giant, big, humongous experiment. And if we think of ourselves just experimenting, then it's not so scary to get back out there. You know, it's an experiment.
It is, and it can be fun. It can be a lot of fun.
It can.
When you are feeling, you know, solid and whole, then your perspective of other people coming in is different. So
totally different.
Looking forward to, oh my gosh, I have a coffee date or I have a lunch date, and you start to really get excited about the prospect of sharing, communicating with someone. It doesn't mean that you're looking for a husband or looking for a forever person. But when you're first getting out there, it's reconnecting in a different way. And so the types of people that you're going to attract into your life is where you are. So if you've done work, you're going to have people show up in your life that have already done some work on themselves. You know, if not, then shift where you're going, shift where you're tapping into in the pool that you're in. Are you meeting people, you know, online? I know online dating is very scary for a lot of people.
It's very popular, too. It seems like that's what everyone says to do. Yeah, that's an interesting world in itself. That's a whole different animal in some ways. You know?
It is a whole different animal, but you have control of it. You know, you do have control over what you're putting out there and who is coming to you, as opposed to just, you know, meeting someone randomly, which is great. You can meet someone at the grocery store. You can meet them at the gym that you go to. You know, it's about when you're. And I guess the bigger question, like what you had asked initially, is how do you put yourself out there? You put yourself out there in an open way. You can literally meet anyone at any point in your daily life.
See, when you feel that complete and whole, you feel okay that, you know what? I'm a pretty good person. I'm okay, you know, and I'm getting it together, and darn it, I'm all right. So when you go out with that and you don't put on the mask and you're not, and you're also okay with yourself. So you're not going to put on a ton of demands on the other person, like you have to be this, you have to be that, because you don't find that in yourself anymore. And all of a sudden, you really engage in like really cool conversations and really meeting that person where they're at. And even if you end up not dating, it is a fun time. And learning about what they do in life, who they are, and you don't expect them to be like you. And I'm okay with me. I don't need another me.
It is such a fun time. You're exactly right. And in my dating process, I actually am friends with quite a few people that I had just gone out with on dates.
Yes.
There wasn't a romantic connection, but we have, similar interests or, similar
networking, yeah.
Let me connect you with this. Let me connect you with that. And when you are approaching it from a perspective of fun and not fear-based and, not putting a lot of stipulations on it, it is so much fun. And then what comes from it, and then you're dating, and then you go, oh, I really like this one person. I want to spend more time with them. We are having so much fun together. They have their own dynamic. I've got my own dynamic and my own family. But we really have fun together. Let's just spend more time together. And then it just starts to grow
naturally. It grows naturally. But it's growing from a place of not expectation, but discovery. A totally different. 100%. It's like everything that comes is fun, and it's a new discovery. It's not like I'm expecting this person to be anything. It's a new place. I wish that before we got married in the very beginning, we took the time to say, you know what, I'm okay who I am. Really took the time to work on it. I think that changes the marriage. I think that would change. There used to, I don't know if it was in the Jewish religion and back in the day, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to say it was yin and yang. And before people got married, you had to be whole within your yin and whole within your yang. You had to be whole, a whole yin yang. Then when you got married, you became a yin and yang together, but separately you were just as whole as you are married. And I think that's beautiful. I think that prepares us for relationships. Nobody in this world completes us. We have to complete us. And nobody can fill a void in you. You have to fill the void in you. That's a heavy responsibility to give someone. Incredible. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we have this, we want other people to complete us. We want other people to fill us. And that's not what a relationship is about.
It's not what a relationship is about. And I think that when you come through a divorce and you've lived quite a bit of life already, you don't have the same expectations. You don't have the same intentions. And even if you haven't done a lot of work on yourself, there's a wholeness to you because of life experience and time to say, okay, I like these types of things. I don't like these types of things. I want to find someone that kind of fits into this space because this is who I am. And
yes, what do I need to be happy? Yes, what do I?
Exactly.
It's okay to say, what do I need to be happy? It's okay to say that, people. It really is. And if it doesn't fit into, if you're not happy, what makes you think that other person is going to be happy? I don't know. When I'm not happy, well, a lot of people say nobody's happy.
Yeah, it's that phrase, when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Nobody's very happy. So let's give people some solid steps. If we're going to take some time, well, that's what we're advocating anyway. We are going to take some time to start to be okay with us. We're going to take that time. We're going to get someone who may be coaching us. We're going to get ourselves into maybe a little bit of meditation, at least a walk in the woods, some time alone. We're going to have a date night for us, our own personal date with ourselves. We're going to do these things. Now we're going to get okay with ourselves, but what are we going to do to step out? What's some good steps? Because it is scary. It is scary for people. I get it.
Well, you have to let your network know that you're ready to date. So in your
I like that.
With your network, you can start there. Let people know I'm ready to date again.
Because they have similar tastes. I mean, those are your friends. Those are people you know who know you. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Your friends, your network, your coworkers, that's a great place to start. And that is, in your daily life. That's, if you're going to the gym, if you go to a certain class, if you, like to hike a certain area, or you go to church, and, whatever you do in your daily life, start to be open to and let people know that you're dating and that you're ready to date. So that's step one. If you want to take it further and you want to expand your network, then tap into some of the dating apps that are out there. There are dating apps for every person at every stage in life.
Oh, now that's interesting.
There are so many out there.
So you can tailor the dating app to who you are.
Exactly. So there's dating apps for people that are younger, in their 20s. There's dating apps that, are for everyone. And then there's also dating apps for people that are over 50 or that, are not in the child-rearing years anymore, and they're just experiencing life and wanting to meet someone. So there is something for everyone out there.
There is.
It's really an opportunity. Yeah, it's an opportunity to expand your network, to maybe meet someone that isn't in your immediate space or in your immediate daily life. And so that's a couple of layers of putting yourself out there.
And I think it's important. I've always heard people say, well, if I want to meet someone, I got to go where they are. Well, yes, but if that's out of the character of you, what you like, what you need, say, okay, I'm not a big sports person. I'll put it out there. You say Bears and I say, where are the Woods? That's I'm that bad. I know I have 3 boys. I do try to keep up, but it's a running joke in our family that mom doesn't really know what a team is. So so why would I go to a sports game to meet someone who wants to be on sports every weekend? That's not going to fill my need. I mean, I'm okay that they do that. And if we do like each other a whole lot and that happens to be what they like to do, I'm okay with it. But I'm not going to go there specifically to meet that person. I'm going to go someplace, go into meetups that really interests me. If I like photography, I'm going to do that. If I like hiking, I'm going to do that. I will meet someone in there who might also like sports, but that's okay. I like classical music. They might not be into that. That's all right. But we've got a common bond that we both love. I think if we think of it more that way, we don't have to go find somebody. If they're there, they will come to us. If we're thinking about them. What do you think about this thing of making a list of things you want?
I think it's a huge step. I am a huge advocate for it. And I think when making a list is something that I did for myself in looking for my partner and looking to, find someone again, is I made a list of all of the attributes that I like about myself and also in another person and why I feel that way about them.
Now, you're not talking about blue eyes, blonde, or dark hair. You're talking true character, true personality. Yeah. And so give us an example, because that's important.
It is. It kind of is an extension of what your core values are as a person and what core values you want in a relationship. So if you value, like for me, I valued family. So that makes me feel why I value family is because I enjoy being a mother. I enjoy the teaching and showing and being a part of someone's life and shaping them. That's one of my core values. So I want someone that core value or an attribute to them is family. Whether it's, they have children or they value, their extended family. So that's really what I was looking at. And one of the things that I put on my list, also an attribute is, for me, I wanted someone that was successful in their own career, in their own right. doesn't mean they have to be, something outside of that, but they are successful for themselves and they are happy with where they are. And that attribute makes me feel that they are secure for themselves. They are grounded for themselves.
See, you pull on, and then mine are a little simpler, but they're the same kind of thing. I want someone who is supportive, someone who is generous and caring, somebody who is goal-oriented in a lot of ways in their life, but also can give, on time and doesn't always feel like they're a type A+++. We don't, that's a little too much. So somebody who, do you see, it's the same thing. I've just simplified the terms, but same thing, who has that love for kids and family and getting together and celebrating life. Those are the things that you have to take a look at your own life. What do you value? What is important to you? If you are a big, giant family person, you don't want somebody who wants to be single all the time. If you are a person who loves dogs and cats and you have a house of dogs and cats, which I do, then, 2 dogs and a cat. So do I want somebody who's going to say, oh, no animals, please? That's important. That's really important.
Those are very important qualities. And that's where, when you're looking for someone, those are the things that are going to make a difference in your daily life, and that's how you're going to connect on things. They can still like sports, and they can still like other things.
Yes.
So where are you guys connecting? And that's key. Those are the attributes that you want to focus on. Those are the things, but you're right, they come from you. So you getting clear, you knowing where you are, that's where it starts to, expand from. So these are the attributes I look for. So if you're looking on a dating profile and you're a cat person and this person is full of dogs, then that's not your person.
No. Your poor cat will go into trauma. That's funny. It's true. It's clarity. I love this idea that you keep bringing up, and it's clarity. It's gaining clarity on your purpose. And it's like that when you go through your divorce. It's like that when you're discovering who you are. That's clarity. Everything we're talking about, guys, is clarity. And I know that's such a simple word. We think we all have it, but we don't. We don't. We're very muddy up there. We're filled with this past stuff that's happened that, when the critical mind gets involved, it muddies those waters. It just... It muddies it with so much stuff that you can't see clarity. You don't have clarity. It's easing that. Everything we've talked about today, Leanne's offered us incredible stuff that we can do to move forward. That helps give us clarity. Everything in life is clarity. It's not just finding a spouse or a person in our life. It's our job. It's the way we want to live. We owe it to ourselves. And I think, and Leanne, I think don't you find, whether or not you find someone, and it's important to get dating again, isn't it just incredibly, it's just a total different life when you get clarity.
It is. And you start to relive, or almost have a rebirth of yourself and go, oh my gosh, I'm enjoying things differently now. This tea tastes differently. I like this coffee shop. I like this coffee shop better than this one now. And it's a rediscovery of yourself and the space in the world that you're living in. And so dating doesn't, it sort of opens you up to yourself and to, this new life that you can create for yourself. And things taste different. Things look different. You might, like different food. It's such a discovery, like I like that. Previously, just a discovery of newness and letting go of heaviness and pain and just re-entering into a new space and just celebrating your life, celebrating everything that's surrounding you, and being grateful for what's there.
It's a rebirth. How can people get hold of you, Leanne, if they are interested?
They can go to my website, leannelazarcoaching.com, or they can find me on Instagram at Leanne Lazar Coaching or Facebook, Leanne Lazar Coaching.
I love it. I love it. And it's all rebirth. I just love that term, folks. If we think of ourselves as just being rebirthed with more clarity, more calmness, more true joy, more acceptance. Oh my gosh, that's a whole new world. That's a whole new world. And I'll tell you, it is an awesome world to live in. Awesome. No judgment, no harshness, no criticizing. It's definitely a beautiful rebirth. You touched right on it, Leanne. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show today. It was so much fun.
Thanks for having me.
Good show. And for everyone out there, to start on that rebirth, a good way to start is to start being in the present moment, and to do it by treating things sacred. It's painless. It's fun. You might even start realizing how much you've really been missing on this beautiful planet. So if you are interested to learn more about soulmanifesto.com, take a look. We've got some really cool things going on. I forgot to even tell you about this. We've got a Green Terra group that I'm doing online. That's a discussion group on really key concepts like being present, like getting more money into our life. How do we do that? How do we not offer resistance to it? That's why I'm a soul curator, guys. That's why. I bring you the very best from everything, modalities, religions, and science. And we're going to have a discussion where you get to talk too. So join us. Go to soulmanifesto.com and join up for the Green Terra. And as always, stay connected to that beautiful part of you, that part that wants the rebirth, that wants to bloom. Namaste.
This has been Magical Moments with Alena, featuring Alena Chapman. If you miss an episode, you can download it now from your favorite podcast platform, including iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, CastBox, Deezer, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts.
Podcasts by Federated Media.